That just means like the cost per item. Do you remember in the Samsung phone, what was the marginal revenue? That's the M. So what was the M on the board? It was 250, right? No, 500, sorry. It was 500, right? It was the price, right? The revenue depends on the price, right? It was $500. So if you sold one, you got 500. If you sold two, you got... Remember, revenue is just what comes in. It has nothing to do with the cost. If you sold one, you get 500. You sold two, you get 1,000. So M was 500. That's called the marginal revenue. So that's the price per item. Okay? Okay, how much time do we have now? What time is it? 20, okay. I'll squeeze this in. Okay, what does break even mean? Do you ever hear that phrase? How's your business going? Oh, we're just breaking even. How's your business going? Like, I run a restaurant. How's your business going? Oh, I'm just breaking even. What does that mean? What? No profit, but also no loss. Right? Okay, breaking even means no profit and no loss. So what does that mean about the relation? What about the revenue and the cost in that case? The revenue is equal to the cost, right? Because that's when profit is zero, right? If this equals zero, then these two are what? Are equal, right? Right? So, break even again means what? No profit, no loss. And also another way of saying the same thing is what? The revenue is equal to the cost. Okay? So let's take an example, quick example here. Well, okay, here. Manufacturing t-shirts. What does it cost to manufacture a t-shirt? So here's the cost. What's this part called? Fixed cost. What's this part called? Variable cost. What is the fixed cost? $100. What is the variable cost? 8 or 8x. Okay? So if you make 0 t-shirts, how much does it cost you? $100. Like you had to buy some equipment. Okay? If you make 1 t-shirt, how much does it cost you? $108. If you make 2, what does it cost you? $116, and so on, right? Now, how much are we selling the t-shirts for? $10. Okay, so that the revenue is what? 10x. Right? The revenue is 10x. So let's graph those. And let's put them both on the same graph, just for see what that looks like. So let's put cost in red and revenue in white. Okay, so cost is what? 8x plus 100, right? Cost 8x plus 100. Okay, so if I'm going to graph that, I need an 8 here. No, I'm sorry. I need 100 here. And I need a slope of 8, right? So, which one is going to have a bigger slope, cost or revenue? Revenue is 10x. So which has a bigger slope? Revenue. So, okay, so I'll make the orange one less steep. So I'll do that. That's revenue, right? I'm sorry, that's cost. Right? Now the revenue. What's the y-intercept for the revenue function? Plus 0, right? So that means it goes to the origin, right? But which has a bigger slope, revenue or cost? Revenue. Like that, right? That's revenue. Okay? How about if I manufacture this many? So what's the revenue? Sorry, I should do this. I manufacture that many. What's the revenue? The revenue is there. Right? That's the revenue. What's the cost if I manufacture this many? There. Which is higher, the cost or the revenue? The cost. If your costs are higher than your revenue, are you doing a good job? No, you're losing money, right? So you have a loss, right? Okay, how about if you go over here and you manufacture that many? Now what is your revenue? Now what is your revenue? There, right? And what's your cost? There, right? So if you manufacture this, let's call this X small and call this X large. So if you manufacture X large, then which is more, your cost? I'm sorry, which is more, your revenue or your cost? The white is higher than the red, right? The white line is higher than the red line, right? So the revenue is greater than the cost, right? So are you doing well or are you doing poorly? You're doing well, right? You have more revenue than cost, you've made a profit. Right? So over here, you're making profit. Right? But over here, you're losing money. Right? And actually, the amount that you're losing is the distance between here and here. Right? And the amount that you're profit is the distance between there and there. Right? And finally, what about here? What do I mean? That's the break-even number. Right? If you make this, if you sell this many, you're here, what's the cost and the revenue are what? They both have the same height. So they're the same. Okay? So this is called the break-even number. Okay? And remember, the distance between the revenue and the cost is the profit, right? So here, what about the profit? It's 0, right? And here it's negative and here it's positive. Okay? So that's called the break-even point. Okay, this is called the break-even point. Okay? Okay, so we have class on Saturday, 4th period. But if you prefer, you can come 2nd period, but you have to let me know because the